I don't know, just, I didn't know who she was at the time, but like the first thing that I saw was that she just had a bunch of followers. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, she got to be good. I promise you, I'm a real life story. When she won the Olympics, caught my eye. I never really watched gymnastics before I first started talking to her. When I met her, I honestly didn't know who she was. It was just kind of like, oh, she got a lot of followers, she must be pretty good or something, and
Hey guys, welcome to Lord Blabber 91. Listen, we're going to talk to you guys about Simone Biles and Jonathan Owens, her husband. And I want to break it down from a different perspective. The whole conversation we had yesterday, we spoke about, I felt like the disrespect that I felt like he was giving his wife. He was uncovering her. He wasn't protecting her by telling this story in this particular way. And I felt like he was very intentional about the way he told the story to make himself the prize that was being pursued. I really believe that men don't tend to tell stories like this when they talk about women they actually want, right? When men actually want the woman that they want, they don't tell stories about how she came and collected me, because most men take pride in their hunting. But it's funny I said that most men take pride in their hunting, because someone else did take pride in their hunting in this situation. The person who took pride in their hunting was Simone Biles. See, I went deep, I went backwards. I wanted to find out a little bit more about background. I didn't find much about Jonathan Owens. The little that I did get did give me a bit more of a better understanding of what I think we're seeing right in front of us right now. Simone Biles decided to be the pursuer, the lion, if I want to say it, not lying, but the lion, the go-getter. And she found pride in a space of going to get. I can prove that to you when I play the clip in a second or two about how she was excited about, I go and get whatever I want. And this is something that is an indication oftentimes of very successful women who pursue men because they've always got what they want. They wanted money, they wanted security, they wanted safety, they wanted a career, they wanted a business, they wanted this, they wanted that. They can even now have kids without men as well physically being involved. And what it does to the psyche is it puts you in a place of I can get whatever I want. But the problem with that is that when it comes to relationships, there's often a dynamic where you can't get just whatever you want, right? And so this is really, really important to fully understand and grasp. The fight, I'm not really having a fight with whether he thought he knew her or not. That's part of it, but it's not all of it, right? This situation I'm now focusing on is on Simone Biles and why she decided to make a decision of why she wanted to pursue him, because that's the story he told. He didn't just tell it in 2023. The video clip I just showed you was 2021, right? And he said this again later on, 4 months ago in Black Millionaire or whatever. I think they interviewed him or whatever, right? And he said it there. This story that he's been telling is very consistent. Now, the question I have to ask is, if the story has been consistent, why hasn't it been challenged by Simone Biles to say, hey, the way you're telling the story, I don't like the way you're telling the story? Well, the reality of the reason why that it's never been changed up until this point and why he told the exact same story on the pivot is because Simone Biles isn't going to challenge the narrative. Here's why. Because she's prideful in her pursuit. She's not angry about it. She's not sad about it. No, she's not at all anything feeling apart from she feels very proudful of her going to get. But there are some deeper aspects I really want to explore. Colorism. I want to explore how, as dark-skinned women too, how they show up in the dating market. I want to talk a little bit about masculine versus feminine energy and what happens when the roles are reversed, which is what we're seeing right now with Simone Biles and I believe Jonathan Owens. But again, this is my opinion. It's not actually the truth. It's my opinion on what I'm seeing, right? I want to talk a little bit about her background and his. She came from a foster home. She's been through sexual assault. She has was playing almost like a parent role to her sibling at a point in time. Had to go with their grandparents, dealing with that, as you're the older child, what does that do to you mentally? What space does that put you into? Because I think that's what's showing up, what we're seeing right now. When I looked at Jonathan Owens, he grew up with both his parents, but his father obviously passed away at 22, which is quite a grown age. But you will see on his Instagram post on pages, he always says, shout out to mum. So I think she's always been a supporter and a backer of him in that regard as well, right? But I always talk about men, and because there's not much information about Jonathan Owens and his background, I always say that when men become offensive, it's because they've been offended. Right? I talk about when women become protectors, it's because they've been unprotected. So the two things happen. The reason why men go into a space, obviously, of offense is that they've been offended. They've not been taken care of either emotionally or physically, or there's been poverty of trauma or whatever, and they can go into the space of offensive, right? And they invert what position they actually should be in. The moment he said he's the prize, I knew that he had inverted energy. Because men should not be calling ourselves the prize. The people that keep saying these things are on red pill and manosphere, and they are bitter, most of them, and they are hurt. I've never called myself the prize that a woman should come and get. Do I believe that I'm valuable? Do I believe that I am worthy? Yes. I believe that the partner I'm going to get is equally going to be as worthy and as valuable as me, because that's why I chose you. I chose you because you are equally valuable and equally worthy. And that's how, when people are balanced in their mindset and balanced when it comes to relationships, look at people. But when you're offended, especially as a man, you don't look at it that way. This is why we have a bunch of men, not all, we have a bunch of men who are hurt and offended, and they want to put themselves in a place of being pursued, not pursuing. Men don't do the relaxing and come and pursue me. We don't do that. We go and get. We take pride in going to get. We tell stories about how we went to get. We tell stories about how we went and overcame. But we're not seeing that with Jonathan Owens and Simone Biles. Rather, we're seeing the reverse. Do I believe this is a case for divorce? I'm not saying that. What I am going to say, though, is I'm seeing poison, and we need to root it out really quickly. Now, Jonathan has also told us that they actually have undergone therapy at the time because she had gone through mental health issues. He's gone through mental health issues. So what I'm hoping for is that we revisit the therapist real quick, real fast, and we get this changed around, okay? All right? And I'm going to break it down as to why this is all important, I believe, from my perspective, as to what we're seeing right in front of us. So before we go any further, I want you guys to do me a massive favor. Please, if you're new here, like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button as well. All right, we want to continue the great work we're doing. Subscribe to that channel. We're trying to get to 100K by the end of the year. I know I've only got like 8 days, but God can do miracles. Okay, God can do miracles. All right, we're almost at 80K. So shout out to you guys who've helped me do that, because that was fast coming as well. And you can join our membership. It's £1, $1, and you can join the family as well. We have great conversations around here, as well as family. And you can join our Discord or Patreon. It's a Discord that we have separately aside everything else. And last but not least, we also have our merchandise as well. All right, you know the word that we say: Carnage and Mineral Gang. All right, so we go and get into this this situation. I believe this will help both men and women in 2023. I really do, because I feel like we are in that season for both men and women that are uncovered and men that are uncovered. We operate in different ways. Men tend to be very aggressive. Women tend to internalize. So that's why when men get hurt, they offend, and why women tend to defend. Because oftentimes women tend to internalize, men tend to externalize. And so what happens is men offend and women tend to defend, from what I've observed from. All right, so we're going to get into this conversation and get a bit deeper. I'm going to go with some clips just to bring you in as well, and so that you can actually have a visual of what I'm talking about here. Let's get back into this situation here with Simone Biles and what she had said concerning her situation with Jonathan Owens.
Clicked, ooh, I like him. It matched. So he had already liked my profile, which that means
She always say we match.
No,
first.
baby, we matched, but I was the first to message.
Yeah, you.
Okay, cool. First thing I want to talk about is this. Pursuit versus position. You guys heard me talk about this before. Pursuit versus position. I'll go through this really, really quickly. I don't want to spend too much time on this because I want to focus more on the background. But pursuit versus position. Here's why, as a woman, you do not pursue, you position. Okay? You don't pursue, you position. There was actually nothing wrong with Simone sending him a message. Okay? Nothing wrong with that. The issue is what happens after, because how he tells the story is, hold on a minute, they swiped, they matched, but then she obviously liked his photos, and then she went and messaged him, and then she went on a 45-minute drive to come and collect him. And he tells the story that way because of what position he believes he's in. He believes he's the catch and he's the prize. That's why he tells the story that way. Do you know what that sounds like? A woman. A woman often tells a story and she wants to boast to her girls, girl, let me tell you something. You know how that guy drove 45 minutes to come and see me? You know how he liked my photos and then entered my DMs and then he was like telling me all this sweet stuff? Women often tell their girls this story. The reason why I know that is because I spent some time with some women, okay? All right? You know, I was also a young man that was insecure and offended, and I spent a lot of time with women because that energy was very familiar to me, okay? Yeah? When you're offended, you tend to have more of the feminine energy, okay? All right? And I had a dad, but the emotional aspect I didn't have of him, I was rebelling against the masculine energy he would give me. So I found myself in more comfortability when it came to the feminine energy. That's just being real. So I had both my parents who were present physically, but because he wasn't emotionally present, I found myself in a space where I was offended by his masculine energy and I rejected it a lot of times, and I found comfortability being in the feminine energy. Right? Now, maybe I didn't call myself the prize, but maybe for instance, I didn't understand, why do we have to pay on the first date? Why do I have to provide? Why do I have to be the one that only protects? Why can't you protect me too? Like, you know, I would always want to have an exchange of fairness. And a lot of that was coming from offense of how I felt unprotected myself in my own childhood. If you don't work that ish out, you're gonna be in the wrong position when you end up in a relationship. Let's go back to what we're saying. You don't pursue. You put yourself in position. When women are in their feminine and they understand how to receive, they end up staying in a position. They end up putting themselves in position to receive, not to go and get. I want to make it very clear. When you are in your feminine and you're healed and you're balanced and you have someone that teaches you about the feminine wiles, women put themselves in position. Actually, one of the things that we've lost in 2023 due to several different reasons, that can be another conversation elsewhere. But, you know, women used to have a thing, in my younger day, my 20s, right? I would see women do things positionally. Here's how they do it positionally. You be in a club and a woman will do. Now, she ain't coming over to talk to you. Now, I'm not saying and there's nothing wrong with her coming to talk to you, by the way, right? I'm not saying anything wrong with that, but a woman will give you the eye, just be like. Now, what does that mean? She's positioning herself to let you know, hey, it's okay if you come over. It's okay if you come and talk to me. That's right, yeah, I'm going to give you the eyes. That is positional play. You're not going to pursue, right? Now, if you go over there and you say, hey, how you doing? And then you end up leading the conversation too, and then you end up saying, so can I get your number? You're now pursuing and you're not in position. Okay? Do you get what I'm saying to you? Right? You're not positioning, you're pursuing. So what you have to do is you have to find yourself back at the place of receiving. You can go over and have a conversation, but don't lead it. Let him lead. If he doesn't want to lead it, he probably isn't interested. Right? Don't say, what's your number? What's your Instagram? No. Right? Position yourself. Right? Position yourself. Let him think that he's coming to get you. You see, one of the greatest skills of a woman is making us think that we did something. And we didn't. In reality, we think, oh, yeah, I went over there and I started talking to her. No, you were reading the signs. She gave you something and gave you a little look and you was like, let me go over and talk to her. Let me go and talk to her. I'm going to talk to her. You start talking to her and you think it's something. Right? But actually what she's done is she's positioned herself and she's marketed and put the lights out there and said, yeah, come and collect. Right? That's what women tend to do, right? Well, at least that's what we used to do back in the day. I don't know if we still do it now. I know the streets are cold out there, okay? Right? That's positional play. Pursuing is what we're hearing, quote unquote, from Jonathan, because when he told the story, there was now anything he was saying about what he was pursuing her for. Right? We didn't hear anything of that. And it's intentional he told the story that way. Because of twofold. One, potentially because she was pursuer, but two, also because he likes to be positional himself. Right? He likes to be positional himself, which means he's in the wrong situation. You're not meant to be in position as a man. You're supposed to go and get. This is why God so loved the world that he gave. Listen to that verb, gave, or giving, I should say, is even a word. But giving. The man or the masculine energy is in the business of giving. Now, does that mean that women can't give back? No. But what we're saying is the man is in a position of giving. This is why the Bible talks about how God so loved the world that he gave his only son. But he also says as well that he first loved us. He gives out. And then that brings a reception. The person's meant to receive. Me as a man dealing with God, I am in the position of receiving. I'm not in the position of giving to God. Many people in the kingdom of Christ try to give to God and they got it wrong. You are not the man in the relationship with God. You are the woman. You are to receive. This is why Galatians 3 talks about, and if you read it from the Message Bible, read Galatians 3 in the Message, you'll get is it Galatians? I think it's Galatians 3, verse 11 onwards, and read it in the Message Bible, you'll get a completely different understanding. It says that the faith that we have in God is about the blueprint that he lays out for you and I. We're supposed just to walk in the blueprint that he's given us. That's true faith. True faith is hearing what he said and then going, I'm just going to walk in what you've given me. Do you know what that sounds like? When a man goes out and says, listen, I'm laying out this life for you. I'm saying, this is what I'm doing, this one, this one, this one. I'm going to do this and that for you. And the woman just goes, I'm just going to rest in it and I'm going to go with it. Now, of course, that's a perfect situation. Not every man can be, complete provider and do all that kind of stuff. But it's just giving a perspective to us, right? So you don't want to be in a position of pursuit. You want to be in a position, right? Here's the reasons why you don't want to pursue. You rob him of his opportunity to hunt. If you pursue, you rob him of his opportunity to hunt. Number 2, when you rob him of his opportunity to hunt, you rob him of his ego and his pride. Okay, and as a man, our ego and our pride is very important. And I'm not talking about the negative aspects. I'm talking about the fact that makes us as a man. The ability to be able to boast a little bit and say, I did this. You rob him of that opportunity. Okay, all right. Number 3, when you pursue and you don't position yourself, okay, all right, you also potentially put yourself in a position where you will not know fully how he feels about you. Men I call men the gatekeepers when it comes to relationship, commitment, and marriage. And if you pursue him, you will not know his true feelings and thoughts about whether he wants to commit to you or not. Guess what happened in the situation with Jonathan Owens and our good sis, Simone Biles? What did he say to us? He told us, I wasn't sure about the commitment. Why? Because in reality, she was pursuing. See, when you put it on him and he says he's not sure, you can say, hey, no biggie, I'm going to walk away. I don't need this in my life. Right? I don't need this in my life. Right? So when you put yourself in that position, when you begin to pursue, okay, when you put yourself in a position to pursue, what's going to happen is that you're going to struggle to be able to actually realize, does he want to commit to me? Not does he just want you, does he want to commit to you? Does he actually want marriage and relationship with you? Because men oftentimes are the gatekeepers when it comes to that. Women are the gatekeepers when it comes to sex. Like, if we want a sex, it's up to you. But if we want relationship and you want commitment, that man holds the keys. So you don't take his position of pursuit. Let him do it. Okay? Women should never be pursuing. Trust me. Don't let these guys lie to you that you don't have to pursue. Okay? In pursuit mode, because it's not your right position, you miss key natural signs whether this person is for you or not for you, right? Because it's not your natural position. Because it's not your natural position, you're not able to observe the man. When you are in position to receive, you can observe. Let me give an example, practical. You're in the club, you look over, you look. What does that mean? What's going to happen next? If he walks over, what do you get to do? You get to observe how he walks towards you. You get to see what shoes he's wearing. You get to see what shirt he's wearing. You get to see his belt buckle. You get to see his trousers. You get to see his haircut. You get to see his teeth, his smile, his eyes, his lips. You get to see everything because you're in a position of observing and receiving, not pursuit. When you pursue, you're focused on walking and getting towards that position. By the time you get there, it's already too late. Now, we used to have a joke amongst men, which is not really a joke, but back in the day when we used to go out, we used to have a joke that when women look down at your shoes, she knows instantly whether she wants to dance with you or not. So if she's backing it up, and she looks down at the shoes, the next thing she sees, if she don't like the shoes, when she look up at the face, she knows she's going to not like the face too, right? And we have a joke like that. And the reason why that is because women are in a place of being positional, not pursuit. To pursue, go and get. Okay? All right? Go and get. Okay, all right. We are not having a discussion about what his status is, how much money she has or how much money he has. It's irrelevant to the point. We're talking about dynamics between men and women. Women should never be pursuing men, just like women should never be proposing to a man. Never propose to a man. Well, then never pursue him either, because all of that is leading up to that moment. If you would never propose to him, why are you pursuing him? You get what I'm saying to you, right? So just practically, don't put yourself in a pursuit position. You position yourself for him to come and collect, okay? Next point. Pursuing, if you pursue rather than position, what's going to happen is you rob yourself of covering too. And the reason why you rob yourself of covering is because oftentimes that dynamic between men and women is reversed and it doesn't change. Because you're now entering into a contract with that person. What that means is this: how you started the dynamics, it's very hard to change that dynamic. How you went into it is oftentimes how it continues. So if you're pursuing him, you're not just going to pursue him on a dance floor or pursuing him because of his number. You're going to pursue him in the relationship too. You are going to be putting in work. Here's why you're going to be putting in work. Because you believe that you can do everything. You believe when you put your mind to it, you can get it. Guess how I know that? Simone told us that very thing. When I want it, I go after it. Here's the thing though. When you go after it and you go and get it, it also puts you in a position of pursuit in the relationship. And you're pursuing that person most times emotionally. You're chasing that person. You're having to always try to get something from them. You're always trying to convince yourself to be validated. Okay? All right? So you don't want to be in that place of pursuit, because this will happen in a relationship. Yeah, I got my pen and paper. Don't play with me, people. Look. Don't play with me. I have notes upon notes upon notes. Don't play with me. I sat down for the last 4 hours making these notes because I wanted to go deep with this. Okay? All right? All right? So you're not pursuing. Okay? All right? So in that case, you don't want to rob yourself of the covering. And what the covering often is not necessarily just physical, it's emotional. See, something about Simone, and I'll go deeper in it a little bit later on, is that Simone has been uncovered in her childhood. And you hear me say this all the time, the women that are the most protective are usually the women that are the most unprotected. And because Simone has been unprotected for a very long time in her childhood, that caused some level of trauma, what happens is that when they go into a relationship, have you noticed she's now covering our boy? I'm not saying he hasn't covered her, by the way. By the way, I'm not saying he hasn't come out and told everyone to shut up when they were talking about her hair. No, I'm not saying he doesn't do it. I'm not saying he's never going to do it. I'm not saying that doesn't happen. What I'm talking about is, in general, this can put you in a position where the person doesn't cover you emotionally. And so now we've got a situation where he's talking wickedest. And the first thing Simone did was come out, defend him. Why? Because she's a fierce protector, because she's been unprotected herself. She knows how it feels to be unprotected. So guess what's going to happen? It's not the protecting that's the issue. It's when you start protecting foolishness. Right? It's when you start protecting foolishness. Remember Tiana Taylor? If you've watched my videos, you know I spoke about Tiana Taylor and how, because she wanted a father figure, she ended up protecting people. And so when you put yourselves in position to be wanting to be protected, you put yourself in difficult positions. And so for someone like Simone Biles, my concern is you're going to end up protecting him in foolishness, rather than saying, hey, Negro, pull your bootstraps up and stop that buffoonery. And do you know how I know that? Because this story has come again. This is the second time or third time he's told this story, and he don't see nothing wrong with it, and she don't see nothing wrong with it. And in fact, this time she's coming to even defend him. Okay? This time she's even coming to defend him. All right? Okay? So let me give an example. I said this example, by the way, right? The reason why you don't want to pursue, but you want to be in position, is because that will keep the contract going, right? In most cases, you can complain about the contract being that way. It's very much more difficult to turn a dynamic around when you were always pursuing him and then be like, well, I want to be pursued. I want you to come and desire me. I want you to come and chase me. Not really to chase, but I want you to want me to come after me. You know, I want you to do those things for me. And you're going to be like, yeah, I want to. But the reality is you set a contract. Let me give an example of why you've given a contract. Mobile phone contracts these days, right? Do you have to go into the store to get a renewal on your mobile contract? No, they can call you and they can say, we're going to just use your voice. And do you agree to X, Y, and Z? I'm going to read out a thing to you, terms and conditions, and you agree to it. Do you agree to it? Yes. Okay, we'll send out a new phone to you. That is now a new contract. Let me give you another example. On Vodafone, shout out to Vodafone, by the way, I have 25 gigabytes free anywhere in the world, data-wise. I don't have to buy a bolt-on. I don't have to buy anything extra. I get it free every month, no matter what country I go to. That's an old contract. The contract that me and Vodafone entered into is when I called them, I said it at the time, and they said, yeah, fine, fantastic. Now when I call Vodafone and I tell them, hey, I would, can I get that same contract? They say, no, things are different now. What do I mean by this? I'm explaining that because whatever dynamic you had previously, that's the contract you went into. More than likely, it's not going to change. It's going to stay the same. And here's why. Because people like the benefits of that original contract. Otherwise, they wouldn't have entered into the contract in the first place. Do you know what I'm saying to you? If I believe I'm the prize, why would I change that contract where I'm the prize in the contract? Why would you as a woman, where you are being pursued and you're being taken care of and you're being loved and you're being protected, want to change that? You're being benefited. Why would you want to change that? So if you pursue a man and he's benefiting from the pursuit, why would he want to change the contract to, well, I'm suddenly going to be the pursuer now? He ain't going to do that. So you're going to stay in that position. And it's very hard to change that, right? My final point on that pursuit, and that's how I was going to keep it short on that, but I guess I went a little bit long. If you pursue a man, oftentimes it's because you're impatient, okay? All right? You always feel you can change something. Your impatience is a problem. And guess what happens in a relationship when you enter it impatiently? You end up becoming the controller of the relationship. And you control it not by, literally being a controlling, abusive person, but you control it by little things. Hey, I don't want that to happen, or hey, I don't want that to happen, or hey, I don't want like this to that. And you can never relax because you're always on the offensive trying to change something. And when you deal with a man, oftentimes that gets boring after a while. That gets annoying after a while. And then you couple that with the fact that she's successful too. You couple that with the fact that obviously she's who she is. And you couple that with the fact that he's who he is. He's an NFL star. Like, let's not play down. Like, I'm not going to play him down. Like, he's an NFL starter. Even if he was a string NFL player, to get to the NFL, isn't it like 1 or 2% people that get to the NFL? He's elite, regardless. So it's just that she is the top of the pecking order of her competition. That's literally it. But he's also elite. So he's not going to want you to kind of try and control him, things that he's doing. You know what I'm saying to you? Impatience, oftentimes, which is bred from fear, leads to control. So you want to be in a position, not in pursuit, right? Now, let's go to background, because let me explain why I believe Simone is in that position. We're going to just play the clip a little bit, and hopefully it was the right part, because I don't know if it was. Hold on.
I was so scared.
She wasn't scared. She wasn't scared. I give her that.
I know what I like and I know what I want.
Y'all are young newlyweds. Don't let people bring that shit in y'all house. Don't let this man do that.
Now, you heard him very correctly. She said, I go for whatever I want. Yeah, in business, in career, that works. But when it comes to relationship, sis, yes, whilst you want to go for whatever you want, but you must play your role. Receive and be in position. Don't pursue and try to go and get. That's how you should deal with men. Honestly, and I'm not saying that it hasn't worked for some people. Someone's going to come out here and say their grandma pursued their granddad. That's your business. But we're talking about the general principle. I don't want to see no men come out here saying more women need to come and pursue me. I don't want to hear it, okay? I don't want to hear it because it's not our natural position, okay? All right? I don't want to hear it. Now, let's get onto some real things, okay? Let's get into some real things because, I went back into Simone Biles' past. I went into whoa.
That's how.
And I think it's episode 4, I believe. Let me see if it is episode 4. Yes, it is. Okay, it is episode 4. So let me just get my notes to bring that to you, what we spoke about, because she had a past, and she had been through some things that I realize now what would affect her going forward. Because once we talk about this relationship between Jonathan Owens and Simone Biles, I saw some of the comments by the ladies and I realized I wasn't taking certain things into consideration. First and foremost, she's a dark-skinned black woman in America. That will do something to you. I guess I'll be cast as dark-skinned, but they're not necessarily for some people, right? I remember the jokes we used to make as kids, I remember some of the comments that we made as kids. I remember how that affects you in the dating market. If we start talking about colorism and how light-skinned people oftentimes are heralded and pedestaled, then we have to look at how the history of that mindset also plays a role in how they view themselves in terms of a relationship in the dating market. I want to make it very clear. I'm talking about the dating market field. For him, being a light-skinned individual, he's going to know based upon the results of the date, based on the results in real life, women coming to him. Okay, women that are coming to him, he's going to realize, okay, this is my level. Okay, now we have to also understand that her dating market will be different to his dating market. One, because they're woman and man, and two, because she's a dark-skinned person versus a light-skinned person, right? Now, the reason why I'm breaking this all down is because the psychology is very important. Knowing how some of us grew up as a dark-skinned people, and knowing how we were viewed in the dating market, it does something to you mentally. Something mentally gets done to you about how you view yourself, how you value yourself, and how you as a person feel about you. And if you've heard my videos before, you heard me talk about when people feel like they've got a big fish. And I went, and someone gave me that little thing. I went back and her past boyfriend, is it something Irwin? Sorry, I do apologize if I got his name wrong. But Mr. Irwin, he's also of a lighter skinned tone. And I said, we may need to have a conversation with Simone Biles because she got 2 light skinned ex-brothers. Now, if this was a man, we would be like, well, he only liked dark skinned. I'm not going to go down that lane. I don't think it's necessary. But what I will do is we need to ask some serious questions. Okay? All right? We need to ask some serious questions about whether maybe Simone Biles herself, does she have a positive viewpoint of herself? I have to ask that question. Right? I'm not saying it actually is. I'm saying we ask that question as to playing a role into how you feel about yourself. Hey, there's nothing wrong with liking a light-skinned person. Nothing wrong with it at all. Okay? I'm just saying that this person here was light-skinned. The last guy was also light-skinned too. This could maybe, play a role into the situation too. Right? How do you feel about your dark skin? And how you feel about your dark skin also will affect how you feel that people view you, right? In the dating market, okay? Right? So that can also play a role in how you value and how you have worth for yourself, and hence why you might not shut down when he says he's a prize. Why you might not correct him when he says he's a prize. Why you might not tell him, hey, I don't like this fact that you're calling yourself the prize, right? Why she might not shut it down? Because she might truly feel that he is the prize. And that might have to do with how she feels about herself, look-wise, color-wise. That can also play a role into it as well. We have to take all of it into consideration. But let me get back onto my point. Okay? Okay, let me get back onto my point. Again, like I said, that is not the absolute truth. It's what we're deduction we're making to make us understand something. I think I skipped a part, but let me go to episode 4. I want to get to this part, right? Because she's been through some things. I didn't realize she had gone through this as well. I want you to listen very carefully to this because this is also really important as well in terms of what she's been through. And this will affect your self-esteem as well. All right.
Nobody ever told us what sexual abuse was, so we didn't really feel like we were going through it or we were victims. A lot of us didn't go to school, we were homeschooled, so it's not like we had...
Now, I didn't know this, but Simone had been through sexual assault during her time growing up doing her gymnasium, doing gymnastics. Her growing up, she actually suffered through sexual violence. Now, if you know anything about sexual violence and how that affects the mindset of an individual, it affects your sense of belief, your self-worth. It makes you feel like you don't have the right to have boundaries. It makes you feel like, you can't trust people very well. It can also, depending on the person too, if it's a man and if it's a black man too, it can affect how you see race in terms of the opposite sex as well. This can all be a factor in terms of how it affects the individual mindset. I can't say how for 100% it's affected her. I'm giving general how this can affect people. It can make you feel like, it was your fault, right? And you put yourself, and then you're trying to, maybe control certain things in your life because you don't want to be affected by it again. It can make you also bend over backwards and be a people pleaser, because what you don't want to do is be in a position where a man has the ability to hurt you in the same way. Right? So this is also things that can affect you, okay, as well. Now, even before that point, she speaks about her being in foster care, okay? And this is also important too, okay? I didn't know if her exes were white males.
People to
I
talk
didn't
about
realize
it.
that, But I want to go to episode 3 and go to her talking about her childhood, because that was also really important as well, to discuss how she grew up as well. Okay, so let me...
Back and not show them and be shy about showing emotions, because in the sport it's very hard, and I feel like you almost don't have time to cry or to be weak. But I've also had to learn how to be like emotional, vulnerable.
Okay, so that's the first part I wanted to show you, which is her relationship with being emotional and being vulnerable. And I felt that, right? And I was like, okay, well, that's going to be further enhanced difficulty when you're going through a sport where it doesn't necessarily require that, but then also you're going through SV, but then also if you come from a place where you've been fostered. Okay? I want to get to that point. Yes, I want to give that point as well, right? This can also make it very difficult as well to communicate emotionally. Why am I mentioning this? It goes back to my very first point I said in the very beginning. Okay? All of this happened in the very beginning, where I say that women, when they're pursuing a man, it's because they're in the masculine frame. And the masculine frame is done like that because it's meant to be a warning to others that you can't mess with me. But it's also as a result of being hurt. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So the woman will spend more time in the masculine, and of course masculine is on a spectrum. So please don't take it anywhere. But when oftentimes when I say women ended up in the masculine, what I mean by that is when they spend time in a defensive posture. When you spend time in your defensive posture, right, it's often a signal to others. I'm blocking you, and I'm putting walls up because I'm not allowing you to get past me anymore. I'm not going to allow you to just hurt me anymore. I'm going to make sure. But that also, when you're playing in the masculine role, the masculine is meant to be protective, provisional, the life speaker into situations. But if you're playing that role all the time, it's because oftentimes you have had no safety and no rest. And so you play the masculine role, but especially if you've grown up in a household where you were the first, I think she was the firstborn and a younger sister, and where your mum was a drunkard, by the way. Okay, all right. Her mother was a drunkard. Okay, I don't know where her father was. All right. Now imagine the kind of weight that puts on you as a young child when you know. And she said, I didn't know where our next meal was coming from because my mother would feed cats and not feed us. I just need you to understand what kind of mindset that puts somebody into. When you get put into that mindset, you can't rest. This is also what makes her great. Trauma also is one of the things that makes people great, because you don't want to ever be in that position again. You don't want to ever be in a position where you are not able to eat. You're having to survive on scraps. There's no one else to defend you. There's nobody to come and save you. You have to do it yourself. And when you're in that position, you become more masculine. You become more defensive because you ain't got no choice. The problem with that is when you are in that position, you oftentimes date and meet men who are in the opposite energy. You often meet your complementary energy. The man that you often meet is often in the feminine. So if you don't heal, you can't really spot the man unless by the grace of God, he brings somebody who is more masculine than you and takes his time and is patient with you and right? But if you're in that space, you often end up meeting a more feminine man. And why are we saying that? Well, our brother, is also in that position right now. Okay. Let's play a little bit more. I want to play the clip. This clip, this here. Okay, so this is really important too.
The baby, and I just felt like I needed to look out for her, because if family doesn't look out for you, who's going to?
She really was nurturing and mothering to Adria. They had a very close bond, and to this day.
Okay, so, and the next part is going to happen. Her sister's going to say, so several things, right? She had a mothering nature. I mean, at a young kid age. I mean, she's young and she already has a mothering nature. Mothering nature, you know, she's caring. And then her sister's going to come out and say that she felt like she was bossy at first, right? Yeah, when women get told they're usually bossy, it's because they oftentimes are trying to control things, right? Now, if you haven't healed, this is exactly what I was saying about when you're going to take that pursuit into a relationship, and after a while it becomes annoying. And the reason why is because you're in the masculine framework, not in the feminine. And so this is from a young age. Her being uncovered and unprotected from a very young age. We'll play a little bit more of the clip.
That bond is still there.
Well, I thought growing up, I thought it was like, oh my God, like she's so bossy. But now I know it's like she was trying to protect me.
Listen to that word again. I thought she was so bossy, but now I realize she was trying to protect me. This is the words I've been using because I want you to understand that what's happening with Simone Biles and Jonathan Owens didn't happen 2 years ago. It happened well before where these people are. Okay, all right. The need to want to take, yes, exactly, and the need to want to take control, absolutely, and to desire to transform circumstances. Beautifully put. Beautifully put. And that is what I'm seeing with Simone Biles. Hence why she's allowing this guy to say he's a prize, and then she's smiling from ear to ear about how she is the one that I got whatever I wanted. Yeah, you did, because you didn't get what you wanted when you was a kid, right? You see some elements of I've won because I'm doing something different to what I had as a kid. Because most of us, when we're disempowered, we try to empower ourselves later on. Men and women do this in various different ways and in various different levels of destruction. So when you see Simone Biles smiling from ear to ear, hence why I said stop looking at Simone Biles because she's smiling, because there's actually something deeper. You must look beyond the smile and look beyond she's smiling from teat to teat, because people can do things in the immediate moment and not know better, but really and truly there's something going on deeper within themselves. So when she's smiling from ear to ear, it's because she realizes I've been able to transform my circumstances where I get whatever I want. I couldn't do that when I was a child. Let me play one more clip on that part. Let me see if I can find it, where she talks about not being able to eat. I wish I can get it. I might not be able to. Okay, I don't think I have that clip. She spoke about this with her mum, and it was such a painful conversation when she spoke about it. She said that with her mum would feed. I found. Okay, no, I got it. I got it. Okay, let me get it. I think it comes up a little bit later on here. Yes, I got it. Listen to this, guys. This is painful. You know.
Food. I remember there was this cat around the house, and I would be so hungry. They would feed this cat, and I'm like, where the heck is my food? And so I think that's where it stemmed, why I don't like cats.
Do you know how wild that is? That your parent, your protection, your cover, your provider would rather feed cats than feed you. What does that do to a mindset of an individual person? I can guarantee you Simone Biles will never want to be in a position or ever allow her sisters or her family to be hungry again. But that's also what makes her so great, because she'll never want to be mediocre, because mediocrity would represent what she might have seen. So she always has to be the best. She's always having to strive. She's always having to go higher. Look, I can almost probably guarantee when Simone Biles quits gymnasium, she's going to something else, and she's going to kill that too, because her drive of why she does what she does is so powerful. The people that do the greatest things in life oftentimes have the greatest adversity, because in order to get the greatest story, I need adversity to get to that place. That's what motivates me to want to go and achieve. So she'll be great for the rest of her life. She'll be a GOAT because her motivation is I can never be that same person again. Someone said it. She owns a gym already. It's only the beginning. And this is why I'm saying that Jonathan Owens, if he doesn't get his ish together, he's going to die a slow death. Because the woman that you're with is going to keep on going and keep on climbing. You will see this woman in Forbes magazine about one of the highest did it, you're gonna start seeing that stuff because she's like that. Right? Okay. So, you know, this is what she's going through. Now, another aspect that I wanted to focus on also is going back to that emotional compartment aspect, right? Here we go again. Reporting back to her emotional aspects of situation. I just want to listen to the words that she uses here again. And the words she uses, you guys know this as well. I've spoken about this. Other people have spoken about this. Is that whenever you hear the word compartmentalization, just know there's trauma, okay? When you hear someone say compartmentalization, what they're doing oftentimes is that they process information by putting things in boxes, and that's the way they learn how to survive. One of the ways that people also compartmentalize is also to remove emotion from events. If they don't remove emotion from events, they are overloaded. This is consistent with a dismissive attachment style. Just saying. This is oftentimes this is attached to those people who have a dismissive attachment style. Disassociation, thank you. Okay, disassociation as well, right? So this is also a key component too, all right? So we're just gonna play the clip quickly, listen to it again.
You know, to start all over and do it with 2 girls, I mean, it was crazy.
I think in certain situations, you almost have a cage around your heart. There's a part of you that you compartmentalize to almost keep yourself safe.
I mean, I love the fact she's even aware of that. Beautiful. So she is a compartmentalizer, and all of these aspects are oftentimes associated with masculine energy, you want to call it that. I'm not saying that it's healthy, by the way, it's not healthy. But this is what I mean by masculine in terms of when it's done in the wrong way, it's about protection, okay? All right, it's about protecting oneself. Now, if that is the case, she struggles, like she said, she's learning to be more emotionally vulnerable. She's compartmentalizing, okay, all right? These are telling me that when it comes to a relationship, you're going to be the exact same way. And if that's the case, what kind of man is going to be able to deal with you? Well, somebody who may be more emotional than you. Let me give you a thing. And I didn't want to look too deep into it as well. Yes, so too. It's true. Natural leaders do that as well, right? Well, let me tell you why I was saying this now. And I didn't want to look too deep into it, but it was part of information that I think is also prevalent as well. On their wedding day, now men cry because we are emotional. Don't get it twisted, okay? All right? Men cry because they are emotional. But it's the fact that I haven't got the video, I wish I did. It's a short video, and it's a video of their wedding, and she says, they asked her a question and said, do you think Jonathan's gonna cry? She's like, yeah, he's definitely gonna cry, because he cried before. Like, he's cried before in a sense. And I was like, oh, so you get what I'm saying to you? And I'm not saying that crying naturally for any man means you're more feminine or anything like that. What I'm saying is, though, when you don't deal with our emotions, I think it gives us a little bit of an indication with that, okay? All right? Just a little bit of an indication of that. And I think linking that back to what I'm saying about him wanting to be a prize, you know, linking back to how he wants to be the prize, I think that, again, just highlights that he's more of the feminine energy, and that is why he wants to be pursued, but that's why she's comfortable pursuing. Okay? All right? That's why she's comfortable pursuing. All right? So my last few points. Okay, my last few points I want to bring on to as well. I think I've even hit all the points I wanted to hit. Okay, so just to round up and bring it to a nice round conclusion as well. I think when you're looking at Simone and you're looking at Jonathan Owens, I don't think this is a case of get divorced. I'm not going to say that. What I will say is I need someone to grab him by the collar and talk to him and her, because she's comfortable, too comfortable in this situation, knowing that what he's saying is not positive for her and for him, right? Him telling the story, he didn't need to tell the story, right? He didn't need to. And in fact, the clip that I want to even end on to even talk about this situation, I'll go to my other notes. You know, I'm out here like I'm an attorney or something. Where is it? Right. I wanted to message him on the app. She must be good. He didn't belong here. She didn't know he was fighting him. Afraid to commit. There we go. Okay, afraid to commit. I want to get that clip for you guys as well, you know. Okay. All right, cool. Here we go. We're going to play the clip that got us all in talking yesterday and got us into madness. You get me? Okay.
She really booked you.
She did though.
Is what you said.
Cause I was fighting it. I was fighing it.
So
I was fighting it.
So in truth, if I say this out loud, was Jonathan Owens ain't really want Simone Biles. Is what you're saying. Is what you're saying.
At the time,
That's what
I'm not gonna say that.
That's what you're saying.
Now let's pause it right there. He doesn't need to answer that question, right? He never said no, by the way. But anyway, as they said, right? You know, he said, I was fighting it. I was fighting it. What was he fighting? He was fighting commitment. Why? Because men who are fighting commitment oftentimes are in a mode of offense. They're in a mode of offense. They are afraid. They are fearful, right? Because they've seen some stuff that's happened to them. Either they've seen many people being divorced or hurt, or you're afraid maybe because of something that's happened in your parents' relationship, whatever. But the reason why you're afraid of commitment is because you've been hurt by something. Right? You've been hurt by something that you've seen or witnessed or experienced yourself. So that's why he's afraid to commit, right? Now, the mere fact is this, right? He might not even necessarily be afraid to commit. He might be afraid to commit to her. And that's another story, because he might actually be afraid to commit to her because he wasn't necessarily the one that she wasn't necessarily the one that he wanted. Now, let's finish on this last note, which is, I didn't want to go there. I think Simone Biles is stunning. Like, when I look at her, I'm like, yo, this girl is fine. But I have to take myself out of it. And I have to realize that him in the dating market, light skin, NFL player, you know, 6 foot whatever he is, or whatever he is, 6 foot whatever. Okay? And, you know, in that frame of mind, there's a type of woman that, and I don't think necessarily it's about color necessarily, it's about a style of woman, a type of woman. Someone said it about IG baddie. There's a type of look, you know, that maybe he wanted or whatever, right? A type of aesthetic that he wanted. And I'm not going to say about race or type, but it's more about the style, yeah? Simone Biles is, I would like to call it, maybe for some people will be unconventionally beautiful in that sense. I think she's stunning personally, you know what I mean? But that's how I'm looking at it. But if I look at it from a universal perspective, I can see how that might not necessarily be the situation, right? And so I can see how that could play a role. Let me give an example why too, right? She might not fit the mold because maybe also too, she doesn't do the whole, now of course she looked good in this video. I mean, she's done the hair up, But the reason why black women, and again, black women, I felt you lot were bad for this, but the reason why black women were a little bit frazzled about her is because at her wedding day, her hair was looking a bit frizz. And sometimes that speaks about how you deal with certain situations. You know, certain women will not allow their appearance to be out of shape on the day of their wedding. Some of us don't really give a hoots. Like me personally, I liked her hair natural. I'd have told her, baby, I don't give a damn, wear it natural. Let it be out, baby. Let the bonnet be, listen, do you know what I mean? Because I'm really low maintenance. I don't really care about that. But maybe that can also play a role because, like I said, there are certain types of women that like a particular type of way. Again, it's playing into the way that certain women behave. Okay, all right? Someone said they had a beach wedding. I hear that. It's not about that. Don't miss what I'm saying. I'm not trying to make it a big, the crazy thing. It's about the way that some people will not like certain things, that they would make sure 100%. If I know humility is there, I'm going to make sure that I do whatever I can. I never want to be seen this way. That's what I'm trying to say. Some women, that's how they are. It is not about the fact that she is a bad person or anything like that. Okay? I understand that the humility was there. Don't get it twisted. I'm with you. Okay? All right? I'm just saying. In that instance, right? But okay, so the situation with him and her, she may not be that kind of type of woman that he naturally wants, right? So that may be playing a role into it as well. But I think he might be fighting commitment on whether he was going to commit to her. I think the commitment that he's talking about was fighting the commitment of going to her, because nowhere did he ever tell us about what he did to pursue her. None.
I was afraid. I was afraid to commit. I'm like, man, this is my third year. You know, I'm trying to. I'm like, it's kind of early. But you know, like I said, man, it happened when you least expect it. And we hung out, man. It was like we hit it off instantly. You know, we just laughed.
See, this would have been a killer moment. At this point, would have been a killer moment to tell me something great about your relationship, right? It was tough. It's my 3rd year. Da 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 da. But you know what, man, she's fire, man. Do you know what I mean? Or I really liked her. Da 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 da. We didn't hear none of that. We didn't hear, but because what's meant to the reason why you did end up committing is because something made you want to commit. Why didn't he tell us that? Right? Why didn't he tell us that? Why didn't he be like, you know what? Yeah, I was fighting it. I wasn't sure if I wanted to commit or not. But let me tell you something, bro. She's fire though, bro. Like, God, like we be killing it, man. The vibes be the vibing, etc., etc. Right? He doesn't give us the opposite side of it. Okay. You know, in that respect. IG baddies can be black too, Miss Hazel. IG baddies can be dark skinned too. We talking about a style of woman, okay? All right, a style, a particular aesthetic, not necessarily color as well, right? But it's a style. You know that, and yes, Nancy. Do you know what? I need to find that clip. Thank you for reminding me, Nancy. Oh my God, yo. When I saw, hey, listen, let me go to my notes. When I saw that clip, I was like, wait, what? I was confused. Let me go to my notes. Hold on. I said, hold on a minute. I had to look at I need to find that clip. Thank you for reminding me, because there was a clip, and I said, what the frick? Oh, I don't know if I wrote down a timestamp. But in that video on the Facebook, he said, like I told my friends, he's telling them about, you know, it's Simone, whatever. And it's the way he said it. I was like, it almost sounds as if, bro, you know what I mean? I don't know how to express it. I will need to see the clip again, but yeah, I know in my notes I'm trying to find that clip, and I'm like, oh, where did I put it? And I can't find that clip. And also, whenever he talks about anything positive about her, it's in relation to, okay, let's say he loves her work rate, which then makes him want to have a better work rate. Do you notice that he doesn't say anything specifically about her? Like, it's always relating to him. I noticed that as well, Nancy. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. So it's like, it's always relating to him. It's like, whenever he says something about her, it's always relating back to him. You get what I'm saying to you? It always relates back to him. So whenever you hear a guy only, and it's women too, whenever you hear a woman or a guy only talk about what you do for them, they don't like you. I'm so sorry. They don't like you. I am not friends with you just because you do stuff for me. I'm friends with you because I actually like who you are. I'm in a relationship with you because I like who you are. Okay? Right? I like who you are, not just what you do for me. Every time he talks about her, it's in relation to what she do. And I don't think he didn't know about her. Right? I don't think he didn't know about her. I think he didn't know her impact. I think that's like when you hear that story that he speaks in The Pivot, and I need to end because it's going to be an hour now. It's not that he doesn't know who she is. No, he doesn't know her impact. I don't think he knew just how impactful she really was. Because when he tells a story, and he tells a story about going to the cookies and the milk or whatever, when he gets there, he also told the same story in Facebook as well, the Facebook story. He tells a story and says, I didn't even realize just how impactful she was to the kids. We'd walk past kids and they start crying. Okay? I don't think he knew about the impact. Rather, it's not that you don't know her. You knew. You definitely knew who she was. I don't think you realized just how impactful she was. Right? You know what I mean? Because first and foremost, I don't know who the hell Gabby Douglas is. Does anybody, if you know who Gabby Douglas is, you probably do, because especially in America. From the UK, I don't know who Gabby Douglas is. I don't follow gymnastics like that, but I can tell you who Simone Biles is. Because that name, whether you watch gymnastics or not, kept on coming up and up and up and up. Right? It keeps coming up. So you can't miss it. Do you get what I'm saying to you? You can't miss it. And by the way, also, if I'm on an app called Raya, which they do checks for and do validating checks, I know I'm on an app for people that are of a certain esteem. Okay? All right? Of a certain esteem. So if I'm on a certain esteem and I know the app that I'm on, I'm going to do my due diligence. Like, okay, wait, hold on a minute. Who's this? Okay, maybe I don't really know her too tough. I'm going to go and search her up. Oh, that's her. Damn. Crazy. This is who she is? Oh, mad. Damn. Right? But it's funny because Gabby was mentioned by him, not Simone. All right? So that's what's intriguing for me as well. You know, I went to search up Gabby because I heard him say it. See how it works? He mentioned Gabby in a tweet on Twitter in 2012. Someone brought it up, and I was like, "Who's Gabby?" I went to research it. That's just natural. It's a natural inclination to go and do it. Do you know what I mean? All right. So when you go and do that, you know, as well. In 2012, Gabby was huge. Yeah, I didn't know Gabby. I had no clue who Gabby was. I had no clue who she was. I couldn't tell you. And then I went to research and I was like, oh, wow. Gabby on there? I was like, God damn. Gabby crazy. Aries says she's on there. I hear it, Aries. Right? So you see how that works? Gabby's amazing. Here's how it would happen. So let's say me and Gabby match. I'm going to be like, yo, I didn't know who Gabby was. I went to research her and my God, my mind was blown. This is an Olympian. This is somebody who has reached a pinnacle of their sport. This is somebody who's da-da-da-da-da. I can't believe that. I can't believe that we even matched like that. Do you know what I mean? But like, when I talk to her and I get to know her, you know what I mean? Beyond all the titles, she's amazing. She's funny. She's this. She's that. She's this. This is what made me fall in love with her. This is what actually made me want to be in a relationship with her. Do you know what I'm saying to you? So yes, at first, I didn't know who she was. But I knew she was fine. That's what I knew. Right? Now, maybe I'm a bit more well-versed in words, and so that's going to be my kind of take on it. But, you know, there's some type of positive information you're going to put into the atmosphere, you know, as well. So, you know, that's it. 2012, how do you not hear about it? Because I didn't watch all the things in 2012. Honestly, when it comes to Olympics, I watched running, and that's about it. I don't watch anything else. I only watch the running. But that's what I'm trying to say to you. I didn't watch 2016 either. I didn't watch it. Whatever Simone Biles was doing, it just kept on hitting the news over and over again, you know. For me personally, it's absolutely cap. The fact that he's kept the same story for the last 2 years tells me that Simone hasn't corrected him, and that tells me too, Simone, I need you to work on your confidence and your esteem. My final sentiments of this situation is we need both Simone, and we need our good brother in therapy. Okay, we need them in therapy. Okay, we need them in therapy. In order to save this relationship, we need them in therapy. It will seem like Simone is passive. She's not. Okay, she's not. This is why I said that her real self is going to show soon. Maybe she's doing it right now. It will show, right? Because what's going to happen is she might accept this part because she wants to accept the fact that she got somebody who she won. But the real her will show up eventually. It will, because naturally she's a protector. Naturally, she's a go-getter. And if the therapy doesn't start working, if they don't start going through therapy, right, that will show up. She'll want to protect. She'll want to overload. She'll want to take over. You know what I'm saying to you? Yeah? So it will show up eventually as well. Trust me. But, you know, she's doing it right now with, let me see my last clip for you guys in terms of the protection piece. Let me see. I think it's 14:10. Oh.
She always say we match.
No, baby, we matched, but I was the first to message.
Yeah, you messaged me. She messaged. She wasn't scared. I can deal with that.
On Thanksgiving.
I want to see if I can
It's a safety, and this little motherfucker is as a gift.
right, I'm gonna get to that clip. I don't want to get copyright because I need to make some money. I'm not gonna lie to you, okay? These videos have been killing, and I can't make no money because it gets copyrighted. But she's about to start telling you one last thing. She's gonna start saying, "Hey, very very soon they're gonna be saying." Very soon they're going to be saying, they're not going to be saying Simone Biles' husband. They're going to be saying Jonathan Owen's husband, Jonathan Owen's wife. Now, Simone knows we ain't going to be saying that, okay? All right? Unless he becomes a superstar, yeah, it ain't going to happen, okay? Unless he becomes an absolute superstar. And I'm not talking about an average player. I'm talking about breaking some records. He ain't. Okay? We're never going to refer to him as your wife because unless you become a superstar and a global brand, we ain't. Because Simone is so big in terms of the fact her record setting and breaking this and that, we ain't going to call you that. But Simone decided to tell us that because she wanted to, cover him in that way and say, that, she wanted to say like, hey, like we won't be saying that in the future. I'm like, baby, you being nice. We gonna say that. Okay? All right? We ain't. Okay? We ain't.
You agree, bro? You know what? He might. Because the other day I said, you know what? In a couple of years, nobody is gonna call him Simone Biles' husband. They'll call me Jonathan Owen's wife.
Speaking of, I don't know.
And I want to tell you something. Okay, guys, last thing. I said the last thing about 5 minutes ago. I want to say something. Don't be fooled by Simone. Don't be fooled by Simone. Simone is a survivor. No, listen, don't be fooled. She's a survivor, okay? Pay attention. This outward appearance of, I don't know what I'm doing, don't be fooled. Thank you, Aries. She knows exactly what she's saying. When she said, in a few years, she knows damn well why that ain't gonna happen. She likes the position she's in. Even though she plays like, I don't, that's my man, I have to cover my man. She's also in a position of power because we refer to her husband as her husband. Hey. I'm telling you, listen, when I watched it, I was like, wait, Simone, she's not dumb, She's not dumb, she knows. They refer to her as your husband. Yes, she owns it. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And this is what I'm saying about, but that also can be an issue because if he does try to flip it, it's going to be a problem. If they don't go to therapy, if he tries to flip it, it could be a problem because that could also be a place of safety for her. Right? That could be a place of safety for her that she also is the person who they refer to as that's your, when they go out, they take photos of her. When they go out, they ask him to take photos of her. Okay? Right? And you heard him say, listen, that, for him, one of the hardest things also is the fact that, one of the hardest things also for him, why did I not write the notes down, the timing of it, is that he said that when he was younger, he was struggling because he struggled to, he had a chip on his shoulder, okay, all right? A chip on his shoulder as well. So he always wants to prove himself, okay? I already said my last point, but everything keeps coming back to my notes last minute, okay, all right?
So they say the undrafted stuff is kind of out the window now because I'm, but it just makes me want to prove myself, man, work harder just because, I had to work so hard to show people that I belong, And,
now imagine if you've always had to prove that you had to belong and then they tell you you're somebody's wife, husband, right? Imagine, okay? Imagine you have a chip on your shoulder because people have always told you have to prove yourself, and you're now in a relationship with someone. No wonder why he said what he said. No wonder he said what he said. You have a chip on your shoulder. Why would you not say that? Why would you not come out and say what you said? Because you need to prove to us that, hey, I'm the one that's been courted here. You don't realize that you're behaving like the woman in that situation. All right, I'm gonna love you and leave you guys. Let's leave it there. I appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. Click on that bell button for notification of uploads. Please, if you haven't liked the live, like the live, okay? All right? Please like the live. Again, everything I've said is my opinion. It doesn't mean it's the truth. Okay? All right? All right? Okay? It's my opinion. Doesn't mean it's the truth. Okay? Yes, you're right. He wouldn't be getting an interview if it wasn't for his wife. And that's what I'm saying about. He's got a chip on his shoulder because he wouldn't be having this interview if he didn't have a wife called Simone Biles. That must hurt. I'm not even trying to bug him. It must hurt. Okay? All right? I'm gonna love you and leave you. You know what I'm gonna love you and leave you with. Okay? Don't slide on the walls. Don't slide down the freaking walls. Okay?